Hello, everybody. I'm going live a couple of minutes before because I can't stay extra long this time, playing around with where I want the camera to. So everyone who's early gets to see that. There's my kitty. That's Freya. You get to see some of my mess. As always, I love it if you let us know where you're coming in from. I find when I watch other lives, it's really fun to see that too. So, um, So that's always fun as you join us. You can let us know and I'll refresh you on that in a minute. But um yay, I think it's working right now. So hello everybody. I'm doing the whole get adjusting to I'm not seeing the mirror image of myself. I'm so used to filming like that. I say this every time, but I really mean it. It's like weird. What is engage with my what is this? Oh, they're giving me all these little things I can do over in the side. But honestly, I have enough energy to like, oh, Beth is coming in from Charlotte. Awesome. I have only enough energy to like say hi and read the comments and do other things with y'all. So yes, absolutely. Let me know where you're chiming in from, where you're hanging with us from. Welcome to the November. Oh, we got Scotland. That's lovely. That's why I tried to pick a time when maybe people from another time zone could come in and join us from overseas, which is really, really wonderful. Germany. Yay. Oh, that's so fun. So, welcome to the November Sun Dragon Tips and Tricks Live, Wilmington, North Carolina. Woohoo. Um, Whew, I've had a day. Let me just say, I've already had a day. From Florida, awesome. And some names I know and some names I don't. And it's just lovely to see you all. My plan today was to go get my license renewed because it expired today and have it switched to a real ID, which is a thing here in the US. I have my passport, but I don't necessarily always want to be taking my passport with me when I fly if I don't have to. And I showed up at 8 a.m. and I got checked in by 8:30. And I walked out of the DMV with my new license a little before 2 o'clock. So we have a really small DMV and there's not a lot of people there. So it took a while. And I actually left to go find food because I'm dealing with a little bit of migraine stuff today. I left to go find food and come back because they would text me if it was gonna get close to when my number was called, but I waited and waited thinking it would happen. And then yeah, then it didn't happen. I was like, I really need to go find food. So I ran over to the shop. I printed out an extra copy of my ranunculus pattern because that's what I'm gonna work on with y'all. Just me knitting it, ask whatever questions you want, but that's my new pledge. And got some food and came back. So we got Toronto, Ontario, Canada. That's awesome. We've got Western New York and Galax, Virginia. I haven't heard of that place in Virginia before, but I haven't heard of a lot of places. So yeah, this is wonderful. Okay, I feel like the lighting is awesome, but almost too bright. So I'm going to kick it down just a little bit so I feel like I'm not completely, and I'm going to wiggle this around. You're going to either see the mess from keeping up with my cats, or you're going to see the mess that is the rest of my office. So everyone's going to see something. My pledge last time is actually 2 times ago, and I started it last time, is that Toledo, Ohio, and hang on to the other comment. I'm going to address it in a second. Is that I started a ranunculus with Fiber Spates Vivacious 4-ply Botanicals. I want to say this is the burnt toffee color. And I'm only going to knit on it when we are all together. So last time I had my winder here and I wound it. I went from like it in a twist. I wound it. I restarted the ribbing, and now I have a couple of rows of ribbing, and I'm going to keep going with this. So I will start up on this as we're talking. Someone said happy birthday. Thank you. It is my birthday today. I didn't Zoom with y'all. my lingo, my words, again, semi-migraine. I tried to have some food when I got in the door at like 2:15. It's about 45 minutes ago. Some food. I found I don't have much caffeine left in my house, but I found some caffeine because I need caffeine for migraine auras and stuff. Like I'm actually doing just fine right now. I just my head's a little off. Oh, I both am getting happy birthday wishes and people like my hair. I was using a screenshot when I set up the for this from last time, and yes, I had a lot more hair then. And I really am loving the short hair. I'm digging it. I think I'm going to keep it for a while. And yes, it is my birthday. I usually live on the I'm going to knit while I'm talking to y'all. I usually live on the first I gotcha. Someone says they keep Mountain Dew at home just for this occasion. I need to keep a little in reserve. I'm like trying to wean myself off of, I'm going to totally swirl here, so just bear with me. I'm trying to wean myself off of soda. I'm having one soda a day. But when I have a migraine or migraine adjacent things, I need caffeine in me and sugar. And so soda does the trick. So I'm feeling a lot more stable since I got home, which is good. But yes, I usually do a live on the first Monday of the month, which would have been last week, but my parents were here. And so I decided, and they were kind of doing an early celebration of my birthday because it's based on all of our schedules and everything. I'm looking out the window. It looks like it wants to snow. It's in the 30s today, and it's going to be in the 70s or 60s or 70s in 2 days. So it's really crazy. But yes, so I looked at the calendar and went, well, the second Monday is my birthday. And that's okay. I even had my therapist and other people say, oh, we usually do stuff on Mondays, but it's your birthday. And I'm like, and all the more reason to A, hang out with you all, and B, have a therapy appointment right after this. They're both fun, essential things. Idaho Falls, Idaho. Awesome. Very cool. And sorry, someone's trying to call me. I'm going to decline the call. So someone's Wilma's sister's birthday is today. She's 58. I'm 48. I'm 10 years younger than your sister. That is really cool. Wish her a happy birthday for me. But yeah, I don't tend to do like big birthday celebration type things. And I actually hung out with some friends and was doing some sewing machine stitching yesterday. I brought it in here. I helped someone make their first bag like the bags I've been making. And I did a proof of concept for my Christmas presents because my thought for my Christmas presents this year, I was going to make everybody project bags, or the project bags I'm making, they'll get the leftovers. And then I went, but I wanted to have purpose or definition or something, not just like I made these and they didn't sell, so I'm giving it to you for Christmas. So I am making pouches for my family. Yeah, I know, isn't the dragon fabric cool? The fabric is actually, so this is from Spoonflower. It's not fabric we sell in the shop. It's from Spoonflower. It's I had to be really deliberate with my proof of concept because there are these big dragon prints all over it. And I got the rainbow with a white background and black background, just 1 yard of each to play around with. They have them in different color palettes. If you go to Spoonflower and you search dragons, you will probably find this. But the proof of concept. So I was like, I'm going to make pouches for their electronic devices, be it iPads or sorry, I'm got distracted because I'm looking at my MacBook saying, or laptops, and maybe I should do a proof of concept or an after one for me. But my proof of concept was, can I make a pouch for my phone? So I measured my phone and I was like, I want some buffer room. So for the width of it, which is a 1/2 inch, I was like, I'm going to make the whole thing at least 1 inch wider. And I'm also doing quilting on the inside and the outside, like batting, making it thicker. So I was like, so I'm going to add 1 inch in either direction. And then I had another 1.5 inches. And it actually worked out really, really well because here is my pouch and here is my phone. And it almost doesn't fit if I try to slip it in, because I could have made the zipper a little longer. But if I go like that, I have a cute little pouch for my phone. I think it's really awesome. I also used I got this at a local quilt store. They're little yarn balls. So the inside has yarn balls and it's extra thick and squishy. The bags I'm making only have quilting, like batting, like an extra layer on the outside layer, and the inside is just a lining. This one, there's quilting on both layers. So my idea is that it's not like they'll protect it if the thing falls on the ground, but it'll give a little extra padding. So this is what I did with my birthday celebration with friends. And I showed my friend how to make a project bag with a little clippy thing, and it was really fun. So not as well versed in that as I am with knitting, but it's been really fun to make. So yes, if you like the fabric, I may end up I still have some of this fabric left. Obviously I didn't use too much of it to make this. So I may be making different size project bags for the shop with that too. And of course I will let y'all know when that happens. So I am just going to be knitting along on my ranunculus while I'm chatting with y'all. And I will say, I don't think 48 feels much different than 47. I still have a couple more years to go. I think 50 is going to feel weird because being in my 40s, I feel like I can still be like, I'm not that far from my 30s. But at the same time, I'm finally at the age where when I was younger, everyone said I would appreciate when I was older that I look younger than I am. And I'm finally at the age where I do appreciate that. So, I also appreciate having fun with the hair and everything. So anyway, this is only row 3 of my ribbing. I'll update y'all as I'm working on this, where I'm at as we're hanging out. If y'all have any questions, I'll address them as best I can. I find that that really specific questions about people's projects or knitting, sometimes it's hard to just talk about, but I'm happy to try. And I'm watching the comments as we go. And again, if anyone wants to share where they're from and they haven't already, it's always fun to see. We've got people from different parts of Europe and the British Isles here right now, and lots of different states, which is really fun too here in the US. And Donna Haggerty said that there's snow on the ground where she is. I think my sister had snow on the ground in Illinois. We're in North Carolina, which will sound like it's oh my God, Tresticello. I think I knew, but I forgot. Yes, so you're in Texas. We are this anomaly where I live in Brevard because North Carolina is, on a map is part of the South, right? But then we are also, and parts of the South that are really South are cold right now. Like this is a weird Arctic zone that came in, that kind of thing. But I am also in the mountains of Western North Carolina, and the elevation can change how it is from just a few hours away in South Carolina. So, and I can tell there's a lot of wind out there. So when I went this morning to wait to get my license, sometimes you have to wait outside. And there were too many people inside. So at one point I went outside and I was hoping it'd be less of a line because it was cold out. But in the morning, the sun was out. And so it really was fine. It wasn't too bad. By the time I left mid-afternoon, it was chilly. Sun was gone, everything. My watch says it's 30 degrees outside. That's Fahrenheit. I forget how that translates to Celsius, but freezing is 32 degrees Fahrenheit for people who do Celsius. So yeah, okay, that was row 3. I think I'm not going to tell you every single row I do on this, but this is rounds 2 through 7. When I get to round 7, yeah, okay, Dakota's here from South Carolina, Spartanburg. It's 40 degrees. So it's 10 degrees warmer if you're not in the mountains. And that's usual, I find, is that it's about 10 degrees warmer outside of the mountains in this area. So give or take, So, ooh, Man, I'm trying to go fast enough on this that every time I stick the needle in, it just wants to slip over to the other side, and I have to do a little jimmy jobby back. Let's see. Is it Elka is saying she's knitting her 4th ranunculus for mother, sister, niece, all want one. That's awesome. But I guess, that's a lot. Oh, well, thank you. She's complimenting my videos. And yeah, I think so. The raglan increases where it's a knit front and back and knit back and front. I didn't do those right in my first one. I'm sure you heard in my video, but the first one I made, I was so confused by that. And I hadn't watched her videos, and her videos are very helpful. But at the same time, so I don't think my videos replaced hers, but I think different people learn in different ways. And so some people use her videos and they are perfect. They work really well. And some people would rather have some explanation or some words to go with it. Those of you who are from countries where other languages are spoken, she made her videos on purpose without any language because people of all different languages might be watching them. And she also did her videos as a continental knitter, which for some people, if they don't knit with their yarn in their left hand, they can still follow the videos with the ones in their right or vice versa. But for other people, it doesn't work so well. It really is. I find it really is like everybody's different. Everybody learns differently. So, okay. And so down in Texas, it's 63, which is still not like that's cooler, I want to say, for Texas for maybe this time of year. It's not as cold as it is for us, but everything's relative. So I try to keep my heat really low in the winter. I started this last winter to keep my heating bills down, but I came inside, I keep it at 60 right now. And I came in from outside where it's chilly, and I'm like, I'm going to bump it up a couple of degrees, just a little. So, but I try to keep it. Now I understand why my parents kept our house a little, what I thought was freezing when I was younger. Right. Yeah, but so I did not, I'm only knitting this when I'm here with you all. I got a lot of, 48 degrees and raining in Maine. She's on her 5th ranunculus as she's watching. That's awesome. I also think it's kind of crazy that Maine's warmer than it is here. But that's life, like it's not all about north or south. Sometimes it's about elevation, and sometimes it's just about where the weird pockets of Arctic flow are going, 46 and raining, though, probably feels pretty damp and chilly. So I get that. Oh, happy birthday from Fremont, California. Oh, my sister used to live in Fremont. Her first ranunculus with the help. Awesome. And it's 75 and sunny in California. That's fantastic. I will think of that as I'm knitting because I bet that is beautiful. It's 75 here would be lovely too, but it's not. But it might be later in the week, which is the really, really weird thing, and so I brought 2 sock projects. I'm looking for words. Knitting and talking. I'm going to have some pauses where I'm just like, what am I doing? Brain. And I'm getting over a migraine from today. So not a horrible migraine. I've had much, much worse. They're very low level right now, which is really cool. So and Galax, it was 28, feels like 16. Oh, that's much colder. High of 30 today. And that's about where we're at right now. But oof, the feels like 16 is part of what gets you. It's the wind chill, right? So yes. So when I was at the DMV, I have all these projects going, and I have some that I'm really excited about. But I took projects that would travel well or just fit inside my purse to the DMV. So I brought 2 different socks that I'm knitting on. And I'm going to take a break from this ranunculus just for a second to show this off to you. This one, I this has been on my needles forever. And I started to make a sample of how the West Yorkshire Spinners knits up because it's lovely. I absolutely love it. And I had gotten through the heel, probably for another class I did, and because it's cuffed down. I'd gotten through the heel and through the gusset decreases, and my watch thinks I'm trying to look up information. So I'd gotten through the heel. I'd gotten to like here, and it had stalled out. And so I got in my new mini flight from Likey, which is their surgical grade stainless steel interchangeables. The minis are for socks. So I put one pair of socks on my ones, I believe, my US ones, which are like a 2.25, 40-inch cord on that one. So I could do my toe up socks. I put, and this kind of inspired me to work on this. Oh, Dakota's asking, this is from the Birds collection from West Yorkshire Spinners. It is, don't laugh at the name, it's called the Blue Tit. We kind of had to make it because we would laugh at that at the shop. So this is the Blue Tit colorway. We have a lot of different bird colorways. I like the self-patterning like this because it's got a stripe of one color and self-patterning a stripe of another color and this doesn't translate to this like visually, right? So that's why I wanted to knit this. But this, I put the cord that makes it 32 inches on my 1.5s, which is 2 millimeters is 2.5 millimeters. And it is a really beautiful colorway. I like a lot of the different bird colorways, but this one, because the name kind of made us chuckle a little bit, and it is just a pretty one. I'm like, I need to get this done, so it's a sample for the shop. And I'm teaching a cuff down sock class right now. And 2 days ago, I taught the beginning part of the heel flap. We're going to do heel turn and gusset next week. And so I was like, I should keep working on this. And maybe using my new interchangeable set, I will work on it. And sitting there for 5 or 6 hours waiting for my appointment, I not only got to my 7 inches. Basically, this is at the point where I should be doing the toe decreases. My foot is 9 inches long, and I like to start my toe about 2 inches shy of the full length of my foot. So this is 7 inches. It's time to start the toe decreases, but I stopped there and went to the other sock that I had that's been rolling around. I actually had to rip out several rows of this because the needles, which did not have any end caps or fun things to keep them protected inside my purse, had half of them had come out. So I had to do some repair work and some backtracking to make sure I got all the loops on in the right way. I am knitting on zeros with these, with carbon double points. And this is Bamboo Pop Sock. So this is a bamboo and cotton and nylon, like a little bit of, or polyamide, something to make it a little bit stretchy. This is for people who can't do wool socks. We brought this into the shop. And I'm doing cuff down socks with this too. And these have been unfinished forever as well. So I took these to the DMV with me, and I got a good amount of work done on this. These I may leave and not do the decreases until I get to the toe with my class, or I might just finish them off. I don't know. I'm making a thicker sock with my class too, so I can get to the different parts faster. I'd love to actually make at least one sock out of this stuff because we don't have a sample of this knit up, although this has been selling just fine without it. So, oh, I think it's Karen. Hi, Karen. How are you doing? I'm glad to have you here. Awesome. So, the last thing, and then I'm going to get back to seeing how much of this I can knit. The more great progress that I've made is I just fell in love with this yarn so much. This is the Rambouillet from Juniper Moon Farms. They're calling it Rambouillet. Oh, that's good. They're calling it Rambouillet merino yarn. Liz says Rambouillet is a breed of sheep, is a crossbreed of Romney and merino, and it is so soft. It is so lovely. Beth is saying, I've never knit a ranunculus, but your videos were suggested by my sister-in-law, who has made several with your help. I have yarn for one. I'm waiting until after Christmas. I get it. I get it. You'll be great. You'll do absolutely great with it. This would make a lovely one of these colors. This is DK weight yarn. It would make a lovely kind of, oh, Jan's from the UK. And we call her Jan from the UK at the shop. Sorry, Jan. Because we have other Jans. She's chiming in and saying hi. I'm loving this Rambouillet yarn. It is really soft wool, and softness of wool is completely relative to the person, but I think this is really, really soft. And I started the stripe. I'm losing needles on the floor. I started the stripe hype sweater in the Rambouillet, and I am done with 2 of the colors of the 3 colors for the body. And yeah, isn't the neckline cool? That's Jan saying that she loves the neckline on this. I went and I ran out of a ball of the champagne porcelain, the off-white, and starting my second ball, I was like, I'm going to do the neck. And the neck is really cool because you finish with your 5th color, which is going to be the bottom of the sleeve. So I have done the peacock, which is like almost a navy. And then, yeah, Dakota, well, I do run a yarn shop, so I am going to push yarn a little. So if it makes you want to buy more yarn, I'm sorry if it's yarn you don't need. But the Sedona is what's down here. So after I finish 8 rows of more porcelain, the next color on this is going to be the Stonehenge. So the body colors are going to be, oh, this is upside down. This is going to go under this warm color, which I think is lovely. And then the sleeve colors, more stripes there. You've already seen the blue jeans, but this is the sleeve stripes are going to go daffodil and then blue jeans, which is fantastic. And it's just so squishy and warm and lovely. And caveat, those of you who follow me, I've said this before, but we have to be a broken record in the shop. This is lovely yarn. It is very soft, and it will probably pill. And that doesn't mean that it is that is cheap yarn or not well made. It is the nature of, it will either matte or felt a little or pill, is the nature of soft yarn. So someone's asking, I'm going to get back to knitting this. What kind of yarn would you recommend for the ranunculus? I would recommend almost anything that is from a lace weight to a worsted weight, which I know does not help. But and wait, so Elke, you're saying the line below, are you talking about the line on here? It was cast on straight across. It's like this is a drop shoulder. I will get back to the question about the ranunculus. This is a drop shoulder sweater. And so it was made by, like, see how there's a big white patch here that I cast on for the back, which was absolutely straight across. And I went down the back, and then the front of this, you pick up stitches along the back on this side and go down and shape it out a little bit. And then you put it on a holder, and you pick up stitches along the back on this side and go down and go out. And then you cast on across the front when they're at the right length. So one of the reasons it looks so straight across the front is picking up stitches straight across what I have cast on straight across. So I had some help in making that look so straight. But so this was kind of big and gaping and open, and you can look at some of my other videos to see how it was going. But picking up stitches for the collar and putting it on just makes it look so much better. And for people who are just chiming in and stuff, I have not done the Love Note by Tin Can Knits, but just like the ranunculus, you can pick a wide range of yarns. And for New York Sunshine chiming in, my special day so far has been spent at the DMV fighting off a migraine. But it's much better now that I'm with you all. So, and virtual classes I will get around to, but first I want to talk about yarn for the ranunculus. And there was another question. Try and keep up with all the questions. I promise I'll get back to them. You can put them in there again if I don't. This is the Rambouillet by Juniper Moon Farm. It is 10% off in our shop for this month. It's our POTM is product of the month. And it comes in lots of different colors. There's like 16 colors. It's amazing. I am offering just for a shameless plug for my birthday in the shop. I posted online that I am offering a sale. We offer a 20% birthday discount for anybody one time a year. Hi, Amy. For anybody one time a year, if you're a faraway shopper, you have to call the shop and we only ship in the US right now because it's really hard to ship overseas. If we do, we have to like work it out with you all and work up a quote. And sometimes it's as much as the yarn but if you want to go through all that difficulty, contact us. But the 20% off is a birthday discount you can use once a year. It doesn't have to be on your birthday. But what we traditionally do is when our birthdays come up, we give you our birthday discount. So, and someone else make a ranunculus. I love it. I love it. So, today and tomorrow, because today's my birthday, but the shop's not open today. So today's online only. And tomorrow would be online and in shop. You can save 20%. The code is, I'm going to put it in the chat. It is Boss Birthday because I'm called the boss at the shop because Liz is called the minion. And then 20 for 20%. That's the code that saves you 20% today and tomorrow in the online shop. And tomorrow you can also come in or call the shop for anything we might not have online. Okay. And then Rambouillet. The pattern is called the Stripe Hype Sweater of what I'm showing off. And it is that's not the cover page. So the cover page, it's I'm trying to find the, what her name is. Kutova Kika. I can't get the Kutova Kika Stripe Hype Sweater. This is what the picture will look like in the listing. Thank you, Jan. I'm 48 and I'm proud to say it because parts of me feel a lot younger. So, okay, I'm going back to the ranunculus. What are good yarns for the ranunculus? Honestly, like I was saying before, anything, it's written for fingering weight to worsted weight. I feel like the answer to that question is going to be different for everybody because it may depend on where you live, like the weather conditions where you live. If it never really gets cold, you may not want a thick and bulky one. If it is always cold, you may not want a really thin one that breathes too much. And there were other things I was going to say along the tangent. I'm sure I will circle back to them. And thank you everyone for your birthday wishes. I'm reading them all. I see them all. That's really lovely. I would say, so I have made one lace weight one, and it was made with Mayu lace, which is like an alpaca silk blend. And they're all supposed to be knit on size 10 needles, or you can try for gauge, which could even put you on a bigger needle, depending on the yarn you choose. The lace weight ones will be really, like, people see the cover photos on this and they're like, but that's so small, or that's so like flimsy looking or drapey. And if you don't want that, don't use a thin yarn. I don't wear the lace weight one I made because it catches on things and then it pulls, and then I have to it's not that it broke or anything, but then it pulls and then I have to redistribute the stitches, and it's a little more hassle than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be this elegant, I can wear it over something fancy, and it is kind of fancy. I will give the caution if you're like, I'll make it out of mohair because that's lace weight and that will be pretty. It will be gorgeous. Mohair is gorgeous and fluffy, and doing it on a big needle. I think I am doing a sweater at the shop that is designed, it's not the ranunculus, but it's designed to be on a 9 or 10 needle with a single strand of mohair. Don't be like, don't think that's going to be something that breathes and is light. It will be kind of light and flowy and want to blow away in the breeze, but mohair is really warm. So even though we have people who come into the shop who are from Florida and say, I want to knit with mohair because it's thin. Yes, it is. But it tends to be really warm. I have a sweater I knit with a single strand of mohair and a single strand of fingering weight. So they're held together. They're more like a DK. I can wear that sucker. I wore that when it was 12 degrees outside. And someone told me to go get a coat because they thought they knew better than me. And I said, no, I'm fine. I don't need a coat. I'm actually doing okay. My nose is cold, but my top isn't. So, this is the first fingering weight one I've made. And this fingering weight is like a superwash merino, which is all the rage when it comes to fingering or sock weight is superwash merino. Because it is machine washable if you want to. It's a great for shawls and other things. I've seen multiple versions of this knit and fingering weight. My assistant Hannah has one. She's also a tight knitter, so it came out different than others might with fingering weight. But I think this superwash merino, even though it's wool, may actually breathe better than a different fiber in this thin of a weight. So it might be just fine and not super hot if you're trying to make like a shell for a warmer climate. But some of this is more theoretical knitting because I haven't done it yet. And also, different people get hot with different things on. Like I run really hot right now. And I think part of that is my weight. And I think part of that is my age. And so I will get hot in things that I didn't used to get hot in. This that I'm wearing is like a cotton linen blend that honestly I could be wearing something warmer right now. But it's doing okay for me. So and okay, so Tressa is talking about some of it lace. It ended up looking like DK, like depending on how many strands you hold together, that kind of thing. The genius of the ranunculus, or what most people enjoy about it, and the same thing with the love note, because someone mentioned the love note before. The fun thing about it is you can knit all different thicknesses on the same size needle and get really different effects. Like if you look at other pictures in the ranunculus pattern, if you knit it with a thicker yarn, it will look like a different sweater. And I have people all the time who will say, well, but should I change needle size, this, that, or the other? Yeah. Karen saying no mohair in Florida, unless you want something really toasty. And people say, well, should I change needle size if I'm going thicker or thinner or thicker? Yeah, potentially. But when I first was introduced to the ranunculus, it was introduced as this magical, you don't have to gauge swatch. You just grab size 10 needles and you pick up yarn and you go. And part of why it is seen as that, it doesn't mean that everything comes out the same size, regardless of what fiber you use. But part of the magic of that, why that can work, if it's your first sweater and you're afraid of gauge swatching or you're not sure what to do there or that kind of thing, is the style is meant to be super oversized. The style, this Mori girl style, it's a Japanese style of fashion where especially the thinner the yarn you use, the better in a way, because it's meant to be oversized but drapey. So it's not meant to be an oversized sweatshirt that you swim in and you feel big in. It's meant to be a lot wider than you are. But if it, and I don't have my sweaters with me that the ranunculus tops with me that I've made, but I've done a video where I tried them all on. And like, if you hold your arms out like this, some of my sweaters are much wider than me of these tops. But when I put my arms down, it drapes and it hopefully clings in the right way and not the wrong one, where, especially because I'm not trying to have it taper in after my girls, it just kind of hangs and it makes me feel good when I look in the mirror. But that drape that they talk about is going to work better if the fabric that you're making is looser. And so there is something to be said for, if you want it to come out the size you pick, you want to test and make sure, do a little gauge swatch where you make sure that your stitches are about the same size as the pattern writers. But and I don't really gauge swatch with this, but I always use a size 10 needle, and I always pick a really big size. And so it's a little disingenuous, not disingenuous, because I'm not trying to mislead anyone, but people will want to know, well, what size are you making? Honestly, with this one, I haven't picked a size yet, because you don't have, they all start the same, and you don't have to pick a size until about section 3 or 4 or something like that. I'm not looking through it right now, but that's one of the fun things about it, is you can just dive in and figure that out when you get to it. But when I say, okay, this was a size 5 or this was a size 9, I didn't test my gauge. So your size 5 or size 9 might come out a different size, even if you pick the same yarn I used, even if you're using this fingering weight. It doesn't mean it's going to come out the same size, because the yarn and the needles are the same, but the human component in there will make it different. Could be the same gauge as me, but might not be. And so that's when, if that matters to you, you should test and see. And there's a lot of other sweaters. This one, I tested my gauge. A lot of it's knit flat. So I knit and purled a little swatch, and I made sure I was getting gauge before I started that, right? Yeah, isn't that cool? Okay, it's like everything's the same until you hit those raglan increases, and then you pick a size, and the distribution of the stitches changes, and how many increases you do changes. And so that's one of the things I think is really fun about the sweater, actually, is that you don't have to be stressed. If you want to know how much yarn to get, or there's other reasons to go ahead and pick a size before you start. But I'm just gonna see where this takes me. I tend to make one. I'm about 47 inches. I want to say I'm somewhere in the neighborhood of 110 or 119 centimeters. I had to figure that out one time. And I use that, and I go up from that, but depending on how many sizes I might, or inches of positive increase, I tend to not make anything smaller than a size 5 when I make the ranunculus. And sometimes I make one that's really big, and especially with the flowy yarn, it's really fun. So Wilma's asking 10 millimeter needles for all yarns. Yes. I'm on a 10 millimeter, not 10 millimeter. Sorry. Thank you, Trescicello. US 10 needles, and US size 10 is 6 millimeter. When I'm trying to wax poetic about knitting and knit, and then read a question, I'm not always going to read it right. Yeah. US 10 needles are 6 millimeter needles. And since we have people from all different countries, remind me to use the millimeter size instead of the US size, because they are vastly different. But yes, 6 millimeter. Apologies on that. The tutorial series, I know that I used 10 US 10s 6 millimeter needles for that one. I used the Juniper Moon Cumulus, which technically is a number 4 yarn. It's a chainette. It's a chainette cotton. It's lovely. It's a warm cotton, though. So to get back to the question about what yarn to use, the Cumulus is lovely, and it's cotton, which in theory, cotton is better for warmer temperatures because it breathes and it doesn't feel hot and fuzzy. I was saying fought or fuzzy. It doesn't feel hot or fuzzy against your skin necessarily, like wool of the same thickness will. I am not sure which size I made. I'd have to go back and look. And I should know, right? I should keep track of these things. I'm pretty sure I made a 5 or a 6. I could go do some detective work and get back to you on that, but not now because the sweater is at the shop. I wore it to the Southeastern Animal Fiber Fair. I got so many compliments. I wore the bright one I made in the videos to a local yarn festival, and it was really fun. I know I did something bigger, a 5 or bigger. I know that for a fact. The funny thing is, the Cumulus rainbow that I use, the Cumulus yarn from Juniper Moon, it says it's number 4, but it's really happy on a 6mm needle. Really happy. It looks better. And so technically it's almost a chunky, which is supposed to be too big for that pattern. But my goal, like one of the challenges I gave myself when I was knitting for the make along we made back when I made those videos, is I had 2 going. I had my lace weight and my worsted weight because I wanted to do either end of the spectrum, because I'd done before that video series, I'd done a light DK. And so I wanted to do one that was really thin and one that was really thick in terms of the yarn. I have since done one that is a cotton linen blend, the Juniper Moon Zoe. I promise I don't always use Juniper Moon, but I do really like that yarn. And the Zoe was really fun. I made it with only 2 balls, and I had the short sleeves, so really open sleeves. That one, I think I went for like a 6 or a 7 size. My favorite that I recently finished, it was made with Noro Sonata Shima, which Sonata is a cotton and silk blend. And believe me, I finished it on vacation. And the Shima one is just, it has more stripy look to it instead of a tonal or a solid. And it was cotton, but believe me, I wore it in July on my summer vacation in Illinois when it was kind of toasty out when I finished it, and I could feel that silk. Silk is a much warmer fiber than cotton is. So someone's asking about my cardigan. It is lovely. It is a yarn that wasn't selling great at the shop, moving off the shelves. So we have moved it out of the shop. It might be in the sale bins, but it might be gone by now. But you might be able to get it somewhere else. This color is gone. Of course, I was halfway done knitting this when the color was discontinued. It happens 9 times out of 10. This is Jody Long Coastline. And it's really neat because it's like a tube sheath of I want to say linen and a bunch of other things with cotton kind of fluffed into it. I might be misremembering which fibers go where, but if I can find one of the ends from weaving it in, you can see a cotton core to it. I'm probably not going to be able to find one, but this is the Fading Diamonds cardigan. So it gets more detailed as it goes down, which is really fun. And it was knit top down. And the yarns that aren't in the shop so much anymore, the things I make with those tend to come home with me, or I wear them around the house rather than at the shop. And so this, I only wanted to use 7 or 8 balls. So the sleeves are 3/4 length, which I tend to push my sleeves up anyway. But I split the leftover yarn when I finished the bottom part of it. And I'm like, the sleeves are going to be as long as this takes me, So I have to not go off on a tangent for 1 second so I can see how many rows of ribbing I have here. 1, 2. Okay, I'm on my last row of ribbing. This is going to be interesting because if I wasn't talking at the same time, I might be going faster on this, but it's not a race, right? So I'd love to get a little more done than just the ribbing on this before 4. I have another appointment with something unrelated to business at 4:15. So I could go a couple minutes over today, but I'm not going to be able to go crazy past 4 today. Let's see. Karen said she went down to a 9 needle on the last ranunculus as she liked the fabric better. And that's the other thing. She was using fingering weight. And that's the other reason maybe to knit a swatch is if you are at the point where, or for you personally, a different feel to the fabric is going to make it more likely that you'll finish the project or just please you better. That's okay. You'll just have to figure out if you're like, well, this feels so gappy. I don't like it. I want to do it differently. You can totally modify patterns. I don't modify patterns a lot, but you can absolutely modify patterns. You can change needle sizes. You're not locked in. You can make things longer. You can change the edging on things. The adventure of that means being ready to rip it out if you don't like it, or just being ready to kind of go with the flow with that. And if you like how, like Karen, if you like how it looks on if you like how it looks on a smaller needle, you may have to either guess how many sizes you want it to go up to fit the same way. You can sometimes, I have a video called Magic Math, and sometimes you might have to take some chances and just know if it doesn't come out the same as the pattern, there's lots of different variables that could have played into that. So, oh, Trishacello's doing a feather and fan cardi. Yeah, 3s and 6s. Liz was doing a zigzag and a scarf, and she was just like, I can't count to 5, or I can't count to 3. Something's going, And Jan is making Latvian mittens. Does that mean it's got the Latvian braid in them, or is there some kind of color work that makes them fun? That sounds really cool. I'd like to get a little further than the ribbing here, but I'm on my last row, and then I get to do an increase row. And the increased row after the cast on, it's knit through the back loop, right lifted, increase, knit 1. And of course, I haven't looked at my own videos in a while, so I have to remember how to do it. But I remember from my videos that this place could stump people a little bit, because the right lifted increase, her pictures are pulled from, let's see, Colorwork and Latvian braid. Awesome. I had a feeling it'd be both, because, you can do that, Jan. You can tackle that. And that sounds awesome. So, Donna's making small socks for advent calendars for the grandkids. That sounds so cute. That sounds absolutely adorable. Oh man, that makes me think of Christmas presents, which I have not even started on yet, but I have done my proof of concept. So, okay. So we did have Bernie Scars from Tony Lipsy pattern. Okay. And Elke is watching, wondering about classes. Sometimes they're on our homepage, but someone else was asking for an update on classes. I kept meaning to mention this, and other things kept getting really distracting. So I do want to do some one-off classes. I just finished up a virtual classes are a lot for me right now. And I both absolutely want to do them, and I'm finding it challenging with the other duties of the shop. Like, I took a long break from them, and I started to come back to them. And I want to do a one-off class on reading charts and knitting, because I think it's really valuable. And I also want to do a separate one-off class on reading charts and crochet. And originally I thought, let's just get through this, and I can do one in November and one in December. I got to switch gears on that and say I do want to do those, but it will probably at this point be January and February for those. And I apologize that I do keep shifting, but I found, between all the things going on in October and my parents coming to visit, and like, we didn't have anyone sign up for our Any Day sweatshirt. Like, enough people. We had one person sign up the day it was going to happen, and it wasn't enough for us to do it. But we found we were so tired that it was kind of okay. That, like, I both wanted to do it for our virtual people and found that, like, it was too much. I'm working on that with my therapist about being all things to all people. And if I wasn't running a yarn shop, if, like, my main thing was this channel and doing this for you all, I would do things differently. and I'd be like buckling into and locking into just doing content for you all. Unfortunately, that's not where I am right now. I'd have to really shift gears. I'd have to close the shop down, and some of that's a hard decision to make, you know. So I love that we've got the community with y'all, but I'm gonna have to space things out a little bit more. And Elke says she doesn't know how I do all my work anyway. Yeah, there's times when I go, oh, okay, burnout. Let's slow down a little bit, and I'm not there anymore. But I need to start planning next year is basically what's going on. And I only have a few more things happening with even in class, in shop classes right now before the end of the year. And I want to words. I'll be there in a second. I did see, I wanted to say, Caroline, I do see your question. Hang on a second. I want to spend December plotting out what's going to happen next year. Like, what make-alongs are we going to do? What virtual classes we're going to do. Part of my brain is kind of playing with the idea of let's do some old favorites, some things that are big sellers have been big sellers in the past that people really love when they come into the shop, like the night shift, like the ranunculus, like the Papillon. Those could be some of our make-alongs next year. And we could have classes related to that. But I'm going to have to push off virtual classes until next year. Socks are always popular. And we did just do our toe up sock class, but I could potentially next year do like the traditional cuff down sock class I'm doing this year. I bet. Oh, we've got Australia chiming in. That's wonderful. Oh my gosh, we got people from all over. I want to say in Australia, isn't it? It's not quite tomorrow in Australia, but maybe it is. So it's always a big time difference there. And so, yes, so we'll see. But make-alongs don't always mean virtual classes, but I still, at the top of my list for next year is for virtual classes before any make-alongs maybe get started is I still want to do a reading charts in knitting and reading charts in crochet. So look for more information about that. And Ireland, I love it. This is so fabulous. Look for more information about that in December. And I try to do those classes on Sundays around this time, maybe a little earlier, because I am trying to hit different time zones if people want to tune in from different places. And because we don't ship our yarn too much outside of the US. So it'd be really nice if we could find a way to connect and do things for people outside the US. And sometimes those virtual classes are a way to do it. But those are like I don't want to get into too much crazy detail right now, but those are like an entire day's worth of stuff going on for me when I do those. And I love doing that for y'all because it's like prepping the class all morning and then teaching it, and then doing the afterwork so you can have a copy of the video. And I don't begrudge any of that, but it does mean it's another day I'm not recuperating from the work week. So I have to space them out right, is I think what I'm saying. And okay, I'm gonna try to do and wait, okay. So while I'm trying to do this increase row, because knit through the back loop, right lift, increase, knit one. Caroline had a question about tips for weaving in the ends in the ranunculus. So give me 1 second. So right lifted increase is, I'm like, I should know this. I made the videos on it, right? And then I think I'm knitting through the back. Yeah. Okay. And if it's not perfect, honestly, I'm okay with it on this because fingering weight on a 10, it's going to be loose and it's not going to look perfect. Okay. Weaving in the ends on the ranunculus. I knit mine in an Aran, so the fabric is a bit more dense, but I'm not sure how to disguise the ends in such a loose gauge. I don't do it any differently than I do other weaving in of ends. So how I weave in the ends is I follow the fabric on the back side. I follow the loops. Like if you follow where the yarn would go, I call it making triangles or going up and down and back and forth. Even with a loose gauge, it's especially with an Aran weight. It's denser than a lot of other things, but even this one, I'm not going to sew them in any differently than I would in anything else. I am going to look for spots where I have more of a stockinette fabric than the lace. So if I had to start a new ball of yarn in the middle of the lace or a decorative stitch, I might try to hide the end in a place that has a little more body to it. But I don't like necessarily splitting yarn. I like following the track of the yarn on the backside, and I do have videos on my tips and tricks channel for how to weave in ends that follow kind of the track of your knitting. So let me see. So it's gonna take me 10 minutes just to get through my increase row, but you know, that's life sometimes. Yes, so Kimberly saying I could use a crochet chart class. I only know the alphabet. The symbols totally confuse me. What I love about both, and we got Quebec watching. This is fantastic. And thank you for all of the thank yous and everything like that. What I love about both knitting and crochet charts, and why I would want to teach a class on both of those. And by the way, I'm going to go a couple of minutes over right now, but I do have to get off by about 4:10. We're coming up on 4 o'clock my time. I find a lot of people are nervous or scared of charts, and both knitting and crochet charts are ways to try to pictorially, like symbolically represent what's going on with your knitting, and crochet. And it can be so helpful to help you decipher a pattern, because some of us are verbal learners, and then the words are great, and some of us are visual learners. And thank you all so much. And so it's like I find using them both together is really helpful for me, but I also might just love all the different ways to learn, but if you know that the chart is there to help you and not confuse you, and you know how to use it, it can be really, really helpful. The thing about crochet charts, Liz will often talk about how crochet charts are much more universal than even knitting charts. And so you can take a crochet chart that is written in a language that you don't read. Like Liz will do this with, say, Russian or something like that. And it could be a pattern that you don't understand the words, but there's a really good chance you can still crochet it because those symbols are so universal. So if you know how to read those charts, you can figure out what to do, even if it's not written in your language. And thank you, Karen. And I'm just trying, before I sign off with this all. So January and February, only one a month probably though, because I'm already like, I'm having one Sunday a month is for our free sit and stitch, and one Sunday a month is for our paid assistance, our general coach and connect. And any other Sundays, other classes eat up any other Sundays. And I take Sundays and Mondays off, and you can see how this Monday's going. So, which is fun, but not a lot of downtime. So it's figuring out how to make time for all of that. Because we talked about doing this stuff while the shop is open. And it's just, there's been days lately where we don't have time. And if we made time, something else would have to fall by the wayside. So it's like, struggled when you got to the sleeve divide. You're saying gonna undo and restart with mohair and Holst yarn. Cool. I hope my sleeve videos can help with that. And you can always contact me if there's questions I might be able to answer on email. And the other thing, and let's see. Someone said they're tuning in from, and I don't know the flag that's up there, but hello. It's lovely to have you with us. When the flags are really small, it's hard for me to always be able to identify what they are, and especially when I'm trying to count an increase, I'm going to say my geography flies out of my head. But but I want to acknowledge like all the different places people are joining us from because it's really cool. So yeah, and I probably just lost track of something I was trying to say to be helpful. Oh, so yes, so email us if we can help. The general Coach and Connect is $25. I don't know what exchange rates for things, right? It's $25 and it's usually the last Saturday. Ooh, that's because I'm doing this. The last Sunday of the month from 2 to 4 p.m. US Eastern time. And it's $25 is for 2 hours, and you share me with anyone else who comes, but you can ask all your questions. You can ask all your questions, and there's only so much we can do in this format, but it's on Zoom, so I can see you when I can't see you right now. And so if you get really stuck, if I can talk you through something on general Coach and Connect, not the sit and stitch, but the Coach and Connect, I'm happy to try to do that. So I haven't counted, but I'm officially through the increase row. So I didn't make it that much further. But if you keep coming to these lives, this could take me 2 years to finish. Who knows? I don't think it'll be that long. But if you keep coming to these lives, you will see bit by bit this little guy go. So I just finished page 6, which I should have 90 stitches at this point. And I get to do the short rows next. And I'm going to wait until next month to do the short rows. I thought I'd be doing them with you all today, but twas not to be. But anyone who came in last month can see that this is getting bigger. Part of the fun of this is I can really mostly track how long it really takes me to knit the ranunculus. I'm realizing doing the live today that this is not exactly the same pace I knit at because I'm also trying to carry on a conversation with y'all. So 3 rows per hour. Well, okay. So I had 2 rows. I love the joke, but I will push back and say, no, I actually did. I did about 6 rows. So we'll see where I get to. And once I'm through some of the complicated stuff. Jan, it was good to see you. Everybody, it was good to see everybody. While I'm chatting with y'all and answering questions, yes, this will go at a slower pace. But some people will say, well, then they can finish ahead of me. It's all good. So I'm glad 6 rows is okay with you. It's okay with me too. I always want to get more done, but divided attention. It's all good. And I want to, as I'm signing off with y'all, my calendar says, oh wow. Okay, let's see. What does that say? What does that say on it? My calendar says that and that when there was an appointment on the day for our next one, but it's one that's been changed anyway. December 1st. The first day of December is a Monday. So right now I'm putting out there, I don't see anything changing this. The next time we get together like this as a live will be December 1st, and we will just see where I get to. I cannot promise that in January it's going to be right at the very beginning for a live, but it could be. I could just be with you from another location or something. December 1st is a Monday. I'm planning on being here from 3 to 4 p.m. US Eastern, December 1st. And until then, I will keep you all updated on how my projects are going. The ranunculus is just going to get put to the side so I can pick it up next time. And I got to sign off for y'all. I love spending time with y'all, and may your crafting be filled with joy and confidence. I'll see y'all. Bye.